Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves a Scrap, and I'm coming to you from the land down under on this great Sunday, and it is Scraplift Crafternoon time. So today we are putting together a layout to pay homage to the great Brandy Jo, known as Scrappy Boy Mama on Instagram, and this is her layout that we are lifting and how mine turned out today. So we are a group of girls who get together and scrap lift the layout that we find inspirational, and today I'm using some photos from my visit to the Kip Moore concert with my daughter recently, and we're able to use multiple photos on this layout, so it works nicely. I pulled together some bits and pieces that I'm going to use on this layout. Because it is a patched layout, I can use up some of my scraps, and like these ones here with those cards, I've had those for years sitting in my scrap pile, and it's a great opportunity to use up all those little bits and pieces that colour coordinate together but can create a layout, and this one really lends itself to it. I have this music paper here. It's a Kaiser Craft paper. I do have another sheet of it which I don't actually need to use. I do cut off the branding strips, and then I don't actually put them into the layout, which is unusual, but I didn't need to. So then get ready for another layout further down the track. So first of all, this scrap I realise is quite large enough to do what I need it to do for this layout. So I've cut them into 2" by 12s. Then I've cut these cards so that it's a 12 by the card, and then the last pack of 3, and I cut those in half because I'm going to use those for my border and framing in it. Now, to create the panel that Brandy Jo has on the left-hand side of her layout, I have used all those scraps that I showed you at the beginning to cut 2 by 2 squares. Now, the couple of them aren't exactly 2 by 2, but that's okay because they'll fit in underneath the photo or under the embellishments, and you won't tell that it's not exactly the right size. And that's the beauty of these type of layouts. You can extend your stash and you can build by using the bits and pieces, and the photos and the embellishments hide where they're not meeting exactly. So to make sure that each of the squares stands out, I have inked them with a rusty hinge, and you can just see there that I've used my embossing folders just to add a little bit of interest to some of the squares. So it's added some texture and some details. I've used this music note embossing folder on my on my die cutting machine through the embosser, and that's just added some detail to those squares so that I have texture and contrast and some interest to the layout. So one of those strips that I had cut into 2 inches, I've now cut down to 4 by 2 so that it fills that page, because I know that my squares are going to take up 8 inches. So that all marries nicely in together, and that's showing you how you can build your stash further if you're on a limited budget or you have so many scraps that you just want to use up like I do, and extend it so that you get a full layout. All right, now that I've played around with it and got the colour combination that I'm happy with, I'm just going to lay them down, and I start at the bottom so that I build that edge and have a point of reference for it, and then I just have to build them up, making sure that I work up the page and ensuring that all of the gaps are closed, and that sets up my border frame to allow me to build the rest of the grid. Now, as I said, went to Kip Moore with my daughter. It was her choice. She loves anything country, and she, being my middle daughter, not very socially adequate with friends. She's very timid in that respect, and her siblings are not so much into country music. She really wanted to go, so I went with her. I didn't expect to enjoy it. I thought, oh, I'll just go so that she could go, but I actually really did enjoy it. I had only known one of his songs, Wild Ones, which he sang on the night, which was brilliant, but I really actually enjoyed the night. So it was a great experience, and we went together, and it was an opportunity that we got to spend some time just mum and daughter on one-on-one, which we don't often get to do because of our work schedules. Her working at night, me working during the day, and on the weekends she works as well. So it's not often that we get time where we can go out and be just the two of us. So I've used different size photos here, which is okay. And you can see that I'm trimming them down so that they marry in. I'm putting those cards at the top and bottom as Brandy had in hers. She had a strip on her layout, so I've used the cards as those strips. Now I've put my photos in, and you will see that there's still a bit of a gap on the right hand side of this when I put it in, but that's okay because my embellishment will cover that up. Now I'm going to move over to the other side, to the right hand page, and I'm really sorry that I can't work on a page in double in front of you, but my workspace is really small. This A3 board is about as big as I've got. That's just where I work, where I've always worked, and it works for me. So I've laid out those strips across the top with the cards. I've put the music in, and now I'm just cutting down my photos. Now I do have more photos on mine than Brandy has on hers, but that's okay. That's my taking of the layout and making it my own. I wanted these photos on this layout, and so I've trimmed them so that they fit into the space like Brandy did, and instead of having extra paper strips in it, I've just used the photos, and I'm trimming down over to the right hand side of this one so that I have two photos going in, and you'll see that I have got that one as a longer photo, which I now am going to trim down so that it is the same size, and they will then sit over to the right, which allows me to put the photo of her, my daughter, enjoying the concert in the centre. And that's what it was all about. It was her event, her time that she really was enjoying, and it was so good to see her enjoying it. She really was living the moment, and that's what life's about, living the moment and having fun. And my fun came from actually watching her, and look, she's just so happy and radiant and totally relaxed. She was oblivious to the fact that I was taking a photo of her, and she was just really just living the moment. So I'm going to pop this one up so that it is up off the other photos and it is a bit of a feature. I did mount it because I wanted it to stand out, and I have that space there, which I need to look at my papers that are best suit, because that's where my title is going to go, like Brandy's does. So I've gone back with the yellow stars, which I had originally thought I would, but I just tested out the others to make sure. And I'm slotting that in underneath that photo so that it butts up with the cards, and the cards are showing a little bit more in that space. Just tuck it in under the photo there, and I can now start to embellish it. And I've used my dies to cut out a guitar and some microphones and some music notes. I have these stickers from American Craft. I like them because they had the blue and the gold, which reflects the photos and captures the colours in the photos. And that's really complementary to the layout overall, because I try to always use my photos to guide my paper choices and my embellishment choices. That just makes it a more harmonious layout. I'm just very simply calling it Kip Moore, and as you can see with thickers, they do tend to lose their stick, so I'm adding in some glue just to make sure that they stay there permanently. And I'm just getting used to using these tweezers, so bear with me. I'm not great at doing it. I've just bought a pair and I'm just starting to learn to use them. I know other people are experts at it. I'm just a beginner in that regards, because I've always just used my fingers and hands to just put it down, and I thought, well, you know, there are times now that I think that I need to expand my skill repertoire. So I'm just popping up the microphones onto the edge here so that they stand up. I'm adding in these music notes just to go with the theme of the page, and I've cut them all out in a gold just so that they blend into the layout without overtaking the full feel of it. I'm adding in some mulberry flowers here just to build up those clusters. I just think they add a little bit of contrast and a bit of interest. Brandy Jo has got hers on her layout, her little clusters, and so I'm adding mine. I have these enamel dots which are a bit like crystals, and so I'm just adding those to the center of the flowers and also randomly around to build up, though, like I said, the interest and the eye focus. Now the flowers look a little bit funny just sitting there, so I'm adding some leaf foliage to them just to pad them out, and I'm using it in the same color that I have mounted the photos. That ties in all of the pieces together, ties in the photo colors, as you can see the reds there, and that's where I draw my inspiration. I've got the blues in there, I've got the golds from the photos, and of course the greys and the blues and the black and whites, and you can just see how it all mixes in and marries nicely. The musical notes tie into the theme, of course, with that musical theme stripped, and I have the cards because you dealt cards that you don't always know will give you a great experience or not, and that's how it all tied together for here. I just added in the date with the date stamp. I always try to incorporate those into my layouts, and that just reminds me I did know the exact date, so I've added that there. This is the layout in whole. You can see how those clusters have come together, how the photos have been laid to build the photo blocks there. And this is over here to the right. I've got another cluster there and a cluster around the title, and those photos just make it beautifully coordinated. Now you can see the full layout here on the double spread, and I have been very inspired by Brandy's today. This is the left hand side of the layout in full color, as you can see, and this is the right hand side of the layout. Now don't forget, there is a playlist down below with all the girls playing, all the talented ladies that I get to work with on a Sunday, and we take a layout from someone who inspires us and we have a go at scrap lifting it. So don't forget to visit all of the other channels and leave some love. Give us all a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know that you like what we're producing. If you have a layout that you think we could scrap lift, by all means reach out to me and I will apply for you. Give me a thumbs up. Let YouTube know you like what I'm doing. Hope you come back again. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Costs you nothing, but it builds my channel. Thanks to those who are already subscribed. As I said, leave me a comment. Give me some feedback. I'll always love it. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap, coming to you from the land down under. All my socials read Kathy Loves to Scrap. Check me out on Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget, thank you for watching. Happy scrapping. Till next time.